Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we have a very special preview. I'm here with a very special guest, Markeia McCarty. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me here at Dice Tower.
Right? Indeed, it's so good to have you here. Well, you're with Hunters Entertainment, and we're going to be taking a look at Gods of Metal Ragnarock.
Yes, it's that time.
Indeed. Now, this is a unique RPG, and obviously we do a lot of board games here, but in this preview, we're going to be looking at what it takes to create a character in this new world. But tell us a little bit about this new world.
Okay, well, all right. Gods of Metal Ragnarok is an epic heavy metal fantasy RPG. I mean, we celebrate, there's a diverse cast of characters. You have the dual worlds of Mundania and also Ragnarok. So Mundania is like a land that's similar to ours, but a grayer version of it. You know, you are a cog in the machine, but you've been that your entire life. It's not that you are your job, it's that you are downtrodden, you are suffering. It is everything that it sounds like Mundania is. On the reverse side of that, you have Ragnarok. And Ragnarok is where your avatar of metal can shine, where you are a demigod and anything metal goes.
That's fantastic. It's such a unique, different type of RPG. I love it. It's such a really, I love the Mundania too, because it feels like a black and white world that you come from into this fully colorful, realized adventure that you're jumping into. It's really a really fun transition there. All right, well, we're going to take a look at what it takes to create a character. So we're going to kick it off with Mundania, right? I mean, that's where we start. So yeah. We did a little bit of character creation before, but we'll kind of walk through the steps here, I think, right? So yeah. I already came up with the name, Samuel Steed, as my mundane character, right? And I feel like my old technical services job would be a great place to start in that world. Just a cog in the wheel, like you said. At a technical company, a programmer, just heads down every day, right?
Yeah, because basically for character creation, there are 5 things that we're going to be doing with it. And right now you're describing the first thing that you would do, which is your Mundanian origins. So that's where Samuel Steed, the technical services manager, comes from. You know, with you actually came up with an amazing tedium, like suffering that Samuel has to go through every day.
Yes. So he has expectations made to feel small, right? And in that cog in the wheel, it seems to fit. And plus where I came from in the technical world, that seems to fit really well. So, and I love that it's this whole, and going right into his righteous cause, right? Well, he wants to help the downtrodden.
Yeah, liberate the downtrodden. Now, see, the thing with the righteous cause is a very big deal. Like once you've put together your Mundanian persona, keeping in mind that's your persona, then you have your rock persona, which you have in Ragnarok. Something that keeps them both connected is that they both have this righteous cause. This is their battle cry. This is what it connects them. It's the bridge between Mundania and Ragnarok. And Samuel Steed's, your characters, is liberate the downtrodden.
Yes, I love that. It's super epic. So fun. Well, from there, then we're going to move into the avatar, right? Is that the next step?
Well, for what we're doing next then, because like with going from Mundania to Ragnarok, what happens is that your Mundanian persona does something that's so rock epic that the gods of metal take notice of you and then pull you from Mundania. They send one of their metal angels down to then deliver you onto Ragnarok. It's this whole thing. It's pretty epic.
Super
epic. For you to become an avatar, this is when you start building your avatar. So one of the first things that you do for your avatar, keeping in mind this is not your Mundanian persona, though you can use elements of them, your avatar within Ragnarok, you're going to start with your tone. So with that, your tone is your embodiment of your lifestyle. So this will determine which of the major metal gods that you share an affinity with. Yes. So, a way to think about this is In other games, you might pick race or something like that. So we don't do that. In Gods of Metal Ragnarok, it's like literally it doesn't matter what you look like. Your physical appearance does not come into play here. You can look however you want to, but your tone is how you resonate with the world around you. So for you, you want to tell them what you picked?
Yes. So yes. I love the idea that it's not just a name, right? But it's a title. So, and one of my favorite, because of Wolverine, one of my favorite things to use is Logan as a name, but Logan of the Western Edge. So he comes from some epic place in the world, right?
Yes. I like that. And your tone, you actually went with the god Kekatari,
yes.
who is the god of speed, knowledge, and air. Something else with Kekatari is he's the speed demon. Like it's the 100-fingered man, quick, sharp as a E chord. That picky, critical, yes, extreme attention to detail. Like this is your resonating tone, Kekatari. And I love that you picked that, since your Mundania persona is a technical services manager.
Yeah, it seemed to fit really well. And as we were creating this, I love the backstory that just evolved. It was really, really fun. So position though, Shredder, what does that mean?
Yes. Okay. So position, think of position in the same way that you would think of player classes and others. Position is like your position within the band. So there's different types of positions. There's our brutalizers, and in other games you might think of that like, barbarians and the such, barely armored champions, marching across a field, taking on a screaming manticore, like that kind of a thing. With those are brutalizers. We have blood guards, which are kind of, think of like your clerics. These are the ones that are guardians, defenders of metal. They're the ones that are able to heal your party. They're divinely inspired. So, and we have so many other player positions. What you chose, and which I particularly enjoyed, because keeping in mind that you use the inspiration of Lindsay Sterling.
Lindsay Sterling and her violin. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah, so good, right? Because she's all about speed and playing that violin. And the one video in particular of hers that made me think of this character was her Round Table Revival. And it's just this whole Western field steampunk thing going on, right?
Yes. And that is why Shredder, the player position of Shredder, is so perfect for you. Its music and life are tied very closely together in Ragnarok. You don't really have one without the other, but for all of the player positions, the Shredders are the ones that really have their thumb on the pulse of the chord of creation. Their instruments are their instrument to creating magic and mystery around them. So they're instrumental magicians. And yours was actually, you ended up going with a violin with yours.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really, really cool. And we'll get to some of that gear, right? Is what we'll talk
we'll
about.
We'll get to that in a bit. But highly versatile, and they can take on many different roles when it comes going into combat.
Yeah, which is really neat. I like the possibilities there, that for role playing, just in particular, that you could go so many directions, because you're really kind of that jack of all trades in some ways.
You can be the way that let's go into skills and attributes, because that is how you really fine tune what you want to do with your player, with your avatar, when you're going into Ragnarok. So you have a variety of different skills that you can choose from. When you're starting off, you have a notoriety of 0, which means that yes, you are an epic badass. It's just not a whole lot of people know you yet, but you can do a whole lot of everything. Just, things that get better the more your god recognizes you and then unlocks other notoriety levels. So you're going to start off with, and keeping in mind, this is subject to change.
Of course.
Yes. You're going to start off with 16 points that you're going to split up within your skills, keeping in mind that you will never have more than 4 in one of your skills, depending on your notoriety level. So, notoriety 0, you have a cap of 4. Any of your skills, you will always be able to roll at least 1 d4, and we use d4s in this. In fact, we have epic d4s that we actually had made for this game.
Ooh, I can't wait to see those.
Yes, I'll get you a picture of that to show as well.
That's awesome. But there's some really interesting skills here that you haven't really seen in other RPGs, right? I mean, just cram. I mean, all kinds of neat things in here. So
yeah,
let's kind of do like a broad overview. Tell me, I mean, the path we're kind of going with this character is like using like air and such to attack with and so forth. But let's talk a little bit about these skills and how they evolve.
Yes. So of the 11 skills, like we have bang, which is ranged armed combat. So doing damage to things far away, hitting a specific object with an empty beer bottle. Yeah. So that kind of thing like bang. Right. So you have bash, melee armed combat. So that is exactly like it sounds. Breaking things with your weapon close up, lifting heavy objects, pulling heavy loads. Yes, everything like that. And you have cram, which is knowledge based. So it's focused on the learned art of learning. Yep. Is how many facts can you fit into that cranium of yours?
That's right. Cram it in. I love it.
Yes, it's like drawing up blueprints. That's cram. It's like,
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's like identifying things. You have implore, which is religion based. And I particularly like this one. This is something that you can utilize if you run into an NPC that you're not sure what their tone is, like what god do they respond to. You can use implore to then figure out their tone. But the main thing that I love about implore is that that's literally how you can talk to your god. Let's say that you run into a scenario where you want to ask your god Kekatari for a favor. You know, the multi-fingered metal god, you need something from him. So you're going to go ahead and roll implore, keeping in mind that if you end up failing your roll, which is, ones are feedback, 4s are tributes. So if you end up getting a bunch of 1s on your tribute, you're actually going to get double feedback because your god was not trying to be messed with right then. So
interesting. I like how that scale works. It's really, really quite interesting.
Yeah, 1s and 4s, and it's all D4s. So you also have
feelings.
Well, you also have forge. I think my chart is like a little bit different.
Okay, a little different.
Here. All right. Yeah. So you have forge, hands-on knowledge. So like, for instance, if cram is you're able to identify, that mystical looking blue fire that's around that axe, like, oh, I remember reading about that. Forge is, I was hit with that before. I remember what it did to me. So that's the hands-on knowledge. So, and then of course, indeed, forging things. You can make things. You can build a sweet barricade, or, make fire with wet sticks and a fart. Like whatever your character is.
That's really good.
Yeah. And then of course,
legend smithing to go with that, right?
Well, legend smithing is persuading.
Oh.
So yeah. So with that, you can tell a story bigger and better, is more amazing than anyone else. You can persuade and convince others to give you more, or you can be bombastic with your adventures. So earn the edge on any conversation. Legend smithing is all about that.
That's really cool. Yep.
Yeah, feelings that we brought up before, it's empathy based. So this, for followers of Calamity, who is the god of death and is very feelings based, this would be a particularly strong skill for someone who is of that tone to utilize. So yes, it's working through the junk that you're dealing with, but it's also being able to imprint that feeling onto others. So, and then also, not everything needs to be solved with, an axe and a war cry. Some other denizens, might actually be okay with having an ale poured for them, and you'd be able to figure that out if you're able to empathize.
Makes
So
sense.
you can convince a warlord that he doesn't actually want to be a warlord.
That's really fun. I love, and that would be really fun to roleplay for sure.
Indeed. You have Magica, which is casting and its abilities. It's like I said before, utilizing the chord of creation. It's helping bend the world to your desires, invoking those abilities that are attached to your outfit, and defending yourself against magical forces that come at you.
And I went all in on that one.
You certainly did. There's Pharmacopoeia, which is medicine and healing. I mean, blood guards are going to want to be the ones that cap this one out. But it's like, who's going to patch you up? You can't just have a band of everybody is just wheeling and dealing and nobody is able to patch anyone up. So you might want to put some into Pharmacopoeia.
Always got to bring a healer. Absolutely.
Yeah, or a poison maker. Pharmacopoeia is for that also.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Any kind of like weird effects that pop up in the world, you can figure that out with a Pharmacopoeia, and you can reverse engineer some weird stuff with it too.
Neat.
Yeah. And then of course there is Slink, which is stealth base. So that's, are you a stealer? It's like, do you like to steal? And it's like, yeah, you're going to want to put a lot of stuff in Slink. It's hiding, moving in the shadows, sleight of hand, avoid being smelled. That's what Slink is.
And that seemed to make a lot of sense for Logan as well, this character.
Indeed. And then you have Stunts, which is athletics. And that's like parkour, jumping over lava pits, leaping from a tall building. You're gonna plummet to certain death, but you're somehow saved by a wooden cart full of hay. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what Stunts is all for. It's literally the name for that one.
That's cool. You
have Streets, which is city smarts. Yep. So finding the best place to get a drink, which is extremely important. The name of that one guy that can tell you the things, like that's what you use for Streets. And then Wilds is that version, but in nature.
Nice. That's really cool. And again, with all of these, I love the fact how the naming of them and what their meaning is just really unique and fun for this system. I thought it was really well done. So, and then that's going to take us to gear, right? Because all this gear now plays into based on a lot of your skills, and the gear have different abilities and things as well.
Absolutely. So you are going to have 3 pieces of gear. So you're going to have a weapon and then 2 pieces of your outfit. And each one of those will be able to have an ability that you can attach to it. Like that ability can either be directly connected to your god, be connected to your position, or be one of the abilities that are in the general that everybody can go ahead and pull from. And then keeping in mind that if when you're building this avatar of yours, let's say none of the tones really resonate for you. It's like, oh yeah, there's Kekatari, there's Finrar, the nature god, there's Calamity, the god of death, there's Nuaba, and you're like, you know what, no, all of them don't really go for me. You can be unaligned in this. So that is, you can rebel against the system that is built.
Nice. Yeah, I love the flexibility. It's really cool.
Yeah, but those abilities, you are going to attach one to each of your gear. So for you, and I love this, Mark, your weapon.
My main weapon is that ancient Western steampunky kind of vibe, but this ancient old wood no one has really seen before that's made this violin, right? Something very unique and special.
Yes. And so of course you're going to start off with level 1, so it's going to be damage 1, but this is ranged, which is another reason why you put so many points into bang, because of course that's going to be the main thing that you're going to be doing with everyone. And your ability, you chose elemental damage of air.
Yes.
Yes.
That fits really well.
It fits perfectly. You're literally using air to attack your enemies. One of the things with the ability that you chose is that you have to spend a tribute to utilize the extra elemental damage. So just to say real quick, remember when I was saying, ones are feedback and fours are tribute?
Yes.
If it only takes one tribute to get past a challenge that Ragnarock has for you, but let's say that you ended up rolling 3 4s in that hand, 2 of those you can then put into your performance pool. And like this is with your band. Your band has the same performance pool. And then you're able to utilize that as you go into the adventure. So you would take one of those tributes and utilize that to then use that ability.
That's just such a unique way to do an RPG. I think it's really fun. So, and then we have got outfit pieces, right?
Yes. Keeping in mind what I said before, you can look however you want to look. Like you can be a half octopus person that is literally made of energy. That's fine. You can definitely look like that. Your outfit, though, is what's going to have abilities attached to it. So for you've gone with a steampunk Jedi.
Yes. With, you've got the standard, like what you'd expect, like a vest perhaps, but then you have the Jedi cloak as well. Really just something different, really fun.
I love that. So yeah, you're going to get a defensive 1 for your outfit, and you chose the ability Power Aura.
Yes.
And yes, this one was directly linked to Kekatari, and it adds an additional defense of air, and it also does require a tribute, and it will last 1 round for you. So you're starting off you're flexing.
Yeah.
Like I said.
I want to play so bad.
And then of course for your accessory, your third piece of gear, you chose a giant. Yeah, go ahead.
A giant buckle that is a version of the violin, right? That has, but maybe more metal looking this time, obviously, because it's a buckle. But it definitely is, again, in that steampunk kind of feel.
I love how your avatar was it Logan of the Western Edge?
Yes.
I love how in my mind, I see how they look, I see how they move around in this world. So with this particular accessory, you chose the ability Speed, and that is the one that's attached to your position as Shredder. And with that, you're going to be able to double your movement speed for an action at no cost, no tribute needed. So you've made a well-rounded Shredder, a follower of Kekatari here, Mark.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I really liked this whole character creation. And I feel like, to add more flavor to them, that, Logan of the Western Edge, maybe in a valley below the Western Edge is that ancient forest where that wood for the violin was found. Something really fun like that, right? I love doing backstories. It'd be really, and I love that it encourages that as well. But all those abilities that we've attached to this gear, there's a huge spreadsheet of this stuff that you have available. It's just really super customizable.
Yes, absolutely. Because this is supposed to represent your metal persona. This is your heavy metal rock fantasy. And we've done our best to give you a fine buffet of wonderful metalness for you to choose from with it. Okay, so like with health points, you have your meat stack. Once your meat stack is damaged to a certain point, then you will no longer exist. However, before you get to that point, there's a number of different steps. So once you get 4 damage, you'll get an additional D4 to put into your performance pools. Another 4 damage after that, you'll get an additional tribute. And then right before you shuffle off the mortal coil, you'll get an additional 2 tributes. So maybe it's okay to get a little hurt.
Well, so that, it's pretty straightforward and a fairly quick character creation. Obviously there's a lot of in-depth you can go into looking at the different gods and the different abilities, but really you've streamlined this process really well.
Well, we want you to be able to go ahead and jump in, with both of your like metal boots into this metal world. And if you want to spend more time like going through with your character, you really can get into some really fun things with customizing. Obviously, with the two of us, we had a fun time like building this together. I think people are going to have a real fun time like just dwelling within the rebel of themselves and being like, oh, what is it that I need to let go of? Let me have my metal persona in Ragnarok do that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really neat. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's your favorite aspect of this new RPG?
Ooh, okay. Well, my favorite aspect, my character that I made for our playtest is Carthusis Artifact.
Love the name. It's such a good name.
She's literally a giant size wrestler type character. Her boots are made out of live wolves that snap at people. Her cape is made out of piranha. She has a onesie made out of galaxy with a Cthulhu type belt around, and her instrument is a rock flute.
Oh, nice. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it's just I call her Carthusis because she's she's cathartic for me to be able to speak through her, and then also the Cthulhu element to it. But she is loud and proud. She is a huge legend smithing user. That and schmoozing. So she's a follower of Finrar. So she's attached to nature. So, and also her position is Howler. With that, it's a very nature-based, very summoning base. And because that's why I also made her outfit so nature-based as well. So I chose her because she's everything outside and wild. And I made her in 2020 when everything is inside and smaller.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for the look and definitely the overall of a character creation. This was a really neat process to go through. And plus a really unique Dice Tower preview to do. It was really, really fun. So thank you for sure. And folks, if you want any more information, please go check out the campaign. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.